What if I told you that over 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor discovered 7 laws so powerful, so brutally effective, that they could eliminate fear from your life completely? And stick around until the end, because I'm going to give you a complete 30-day practice system that costs nothing, takes just 15 minutes a day, and will fundamentally rewire how you process fear. But you need all 7 laws first to understand why this system works. Not reduce it, not manage it, eliminate it. Marcus Aurelius faced assassination plots, plague, war, and betrayal. Yet he wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But here's what nobody tells you about Stoicism. It's not some feel-good philosophy. It's harsh, it's uncomfortable, and it demands you face truths about yourself their entire lives. In the next hour, I'm going to walk you through 7 brutal Stoic laws that ancient warriors, emperors, and philosophers used to become absolutely fearless. These aren't motivational quotes, they're psychological weapons that, when applied correctly, will rewire how you process fear, anxiety, and uncertainty forever. Fair warning, some of these laws will make you deeply uncomfortable. That's the point, because on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you that nothing can shake. These principles come from Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, who was a slave who became one of history's greatest teachers, and Seneca, who faced exile and execution with absolute calm. These weren't armchair philosophers, they were people who faced real terror and discovered how. Let's begin. The first brutal law is the most uncomfortable. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. Not someday, not eventually, actually die. Your heart will stop beating. Your consciousness will end. Everything you're worried about right now, every fear you're carrying, will be completely irrelevant. Now, your first reaction might be, that's morbid, that's depressing. But here's the brutal truth the Stoics understood. Your fear of death is the root of almost every other fear you experience. Think about it. Why are you afraid of public speaking? Because you might be judged, rejected, humiliated. But what's the real fear underneath? That you'll be cast out, alone, and unable to survive. A primal fear connected to survival, to death. Why are you afraid of failure? Because it might mean poverty, loss of status, inability to provide. Again, survival fears, death fears wearing different masks. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This wasn't pessimism. This was the ultimate freedom. In the historical example, when Epictetus was a slave, his master broke his leg as punishment. According to ancient accounts, Epictetus calmly said, "You are breaking my leg." And when it finally snapped, he simply stated, "Did I not tell you that you were breaking it?" How do you remain that calm during torture? Because Epictetus had already accepted the worst possible outcome, his own death. Once you've accepted that you will die, that it could happen at any moment, physical pain becomes just sensation. Humiliation becomes just noise. Failure becomes just information.
Here's how you apply this brutally effective law today. Every morning, spend 60 seconds visualizing your death, not in a morbid way, but factually. Imagine your funeral. Who would come? What would they say? What regrets would you have? Now ask yourself, based on that reality, what should I do today? This practice, done daily, recalibrates your entire fear response. That presentation you're nervous about, memento mori, you're going to die anyway, might as well say what needs to be said. That relationship conversation you're avoiding, memento mori, your time is finite, stop wasting it in fear. When you truly internalize that your death is certain and its timing is uncertain, you stop living in hypothetical fears and start living in actual reality. The reason most people fear everything is because they've never faced the one fear that underlies all others, their own mortality. You're building a life trying to avoid death, which is insane because death is the only guaranteed outcome. Memento mori doesn't make you reckless, it makes you ruthlessly focused on what actually matters. The Stoics who practiced this weren't depressed nihilists, they were the most vibrant, courageous, effective people in history, because they weren't wasting energy on phantom fears. Your death is coming. That's not negative, that's the most liberating fact you can internalize. It means you can stop performing for people who won't remember you in 100 years. You can stop fearing outcomes that won't matter when you're gone. You can finally live.
The second brutal law, amor fati, love your fate. Not accept it, not tolerate it, love it. This is where Stoicism separates the practitioners from the pretenders. Anyone can say they accept what happens to them, but can you genuinely love the worst thing that's ever happened to you? Can you look at your greatest failure, your deepest trauma, your most painful loss and say, I wouldn't change a thing? That's amor fati, and it's absolutely brutal. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This is the core of amor fati. Whatever happens to you, your job isn't to wish it were different. Your job is to use it as fuel. Most people spend their entire lives at war with reality. They think, if only this hadn't happened, I'd be happy. If only they hadn't betrayed me, if only I hadn't failed. This is psychological poison, because you're basing your peace of mind on changing something that's already happened, which is literally impossible. Amor fati says, what if the worst thing that happened to you was actually the best thing? Not because it felt good, but because it made you who you needed to become. Epictetus was enslaved as a child. His leg was permanently damaged by his master. He spent his youth in chains, powerless, abused. By conventional thinking, his life was destroyed before it began. But Epictetus later wrote, "Circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself." His enslavement became the foundation of his philosophy. He became one of the most influential teachers in human history, specifically because he learned to transform suffering into wisdom. Would he have developed that philosophy living a comfortable aristocratic life? Would his teachings on freedom have the same power if he'd never been enslaved? The brutal answer, probably not. This doesn't justify slavery or suffering. It reveals a deeper truth. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control whether it destroys you or forges you into something stronger.
Here's the practice.
Take the worst thing that's happened to you in the last year. Write it down. Now complete this sentence. This was actually necessary because. Force yourself to find the hidden advantage. The relationship that ended, it revealed incompatibilities that would have caused worse pain later. The job you lost, it freed you to find work that actually aligned with your values. The betrayal, it taught you to trust your intuition and set better boundaries. This isn't toxic positivity. This is the refusal to let circumstances defeat you psychologically. Amor fati is the ultimate anti-victim mentality. It says, I will use everything, waste nothing, and emerge from every situation more capable than I entered it. Now, before we get to Law 3, remember, these 7 laws build on each other. And at the end of this video, I'm giving you the exact daily practice system that ties all 7 together. Miss one law, and the system won't work, so stay with me. The third brutal law, premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Deliberately imagine everything that could go wrong in vivid detail before it happens. This is the opposite of what modern self-help tells you. You're told to think positive, to visualize success, to manifest abundance. The Stoics said, visualize disaster. Regularly imagine losing everything you have. See yourself failing spectacularly. Picture your worst fears coming true. Why? Because fear thrives in the unknown. What you've already mentally survived can't terrify you when it actually happens. Seneca wrote, "The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." This is psychological inoculation. Just like a vaccine exposes you to a weakened form of a virus so your immune system can handle the real thing, premeditatio malorum exposes you to imagined adversity so your mind can handle real adversity. Most people are blindsided by setbacks because they've spent zero time preparing for them mentally. They've only visualized success, so when failure comes, their entire psychological framework collapses. They have no plan, no resilience, no strategy. They're completely unprepared. The Stoic does the opposite. Every day they spend time imagining, what if I lose my job? What if this relationship ends? What if I fail publicly? What if I lose all my money? And crucially, what would I do? How would I respond? Who would I be? Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome, the most powerful position on earth at the time. Yet in his meditations, he regularly reminded himself, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Was he being pessimistic? No, he was being prepared. By anticipating difficulty, nothing could catch him off guard. When generals betrayed him, when plague ravaged his empire, when his own son proved incompetent, Marcus didn't collapse into victim mentality. He'd already mentally rehearsed these scenarios. This is why he could write during Rome's darkest hours, "The impediment to action advances action.
What stands in the way becomes the way. He wasn't improvising resilience in crisis. He'd built it through daily mental preparation.
Here's the brutal practice. Every Sunday, spend 20 minutes doing a fear audit. List everything you're worried about. Then, for each item, write out, worst-case scenario. What's the absolute worst that could happen? Likely outcome. What will probably actually happen? Response plan. If the worst case happens, what exactly will I do? Growth opportunity. How would surviving this make me stronger? Let's use a real example. You're afraid of getting fired. Worst case, you lose your job tomorrow with no savings. Likely outcome, you'd have notice, severance, unemployment benefits. Response plan, apply to 10 jobs per day, take freelance work, reduce expenses, move if necessary. Growth opportunity, you'd discover you're more resilient than you thought. You'd be forced to pursue work you actually care about instead of settling for security. The brutal truth. Right now, you're being controlled by vague, undefined fears. They lurk in your subconscious, making you anxious and risk-averse. Premeditatio malorum forces those fears into the light where you can examine them rationally. And here's what you discover. Most of your fears are either highly unlikely or completely survivable. The thing you've been terrified of, you'd actually handle it. Maybe not perfectly, but adequately. And on the other side, you'd be okay. Probably better than okay, because you'd have proven to yourself that you can handle hard things. This practice doesn't make you paranoid, it makes you confident, because you've mentally survived everything already. Public humiliation, already lived through it mentally. Financial loss, already developed a plan. Rejection, already processed it emotionally. When you've premeditated adversity, you stop walking through life in fear of the other shoe dropping. You've already mentally caught the shoe, examined it, and developed 12 contingency plans. Reality can't ambush you anymore. You're ready for anything.
Okay, pause for a second. We're 3 laws deep, and I need to be honest with you. Most people will watch this entire video, feel inspired, and do absolutely nothing with it. They'll go back to being controlled by the same fears they had before clicking. But at the end of this video, I'm giving you a 30-day challenge that separates the people who just consume content from the people who actually transform. It's completely free, takes 15 minutes a day, and it will fundamentally change how you experience fear. But here's the thing. That challenge only works if you understand all 7 laws first. So if you are serious about becoming fearless, keep watching. If you just want entertainment, this probably isn't for you. Now, let's get to Law 4.
Law 4. The dichotomy of control. Focus only on what you control. The 4th brutal law is the most foundational, the dichotomy of control. There are things you control and things you don't control. Your only job is to focus completely on the former and be utterly indifferent
to the latter. This sounds simple. It's not, because it requires you to let go of approximately 95% of what you currently worry about. Epictetus opened his Enchiridion, his manual for living, with this: "Some things are within our control, and some things are not. It is only after you have faced up to this fundamental rule and learned to distinguish between what you can and can't control that inner tranquility and outer effectiveness become possible." What do you actually control? Your thoughts, your intentions, your responses, your effort. That's basically it. What don't you control? Other people's opinions, outcomes, the past, the future, other people's choices, your reputation, the economy, your health, whether you succeed or fail, literally everything else. Most people spend 90% of their mental energy on things in the second category and 10% on the first. The Stoics invert this completely. They pour 100% of their focus into the only things they actually control, and they're completely unmoved by everything else. When Epictetus was told his master was about to break his leg, he didn't beg, he didn't try to escape, he didn't protest the injustice. Why? Because none of those things were within his control at that moment. His leg breaking or not breaking wasn't his choice. His master's cruelty wasn't his choice. What was in his control? His response, his inner state, his interpretation of the event. So he focused entirely on maintaining composure, on seeing the event clearly, on remaining philosophically grounded. The physical pain came and went. His inner peace remained untouched. This is the brutal power of the dichotomy of control. When you truly internalize it, you become psychologically invincible, because nothing outside your control can disturb you, and everything inside your control is something you can work with. Here's the practice that will transform your life. For the next 7 days, every time you feel anxious or upset, stop and ask, "Is this within my control?" Your boss criticized your work. Can you control their opinion? No. Can you control whether you learn from the feedback and improve? Yes. Your partner seems distant. Can you control their feelings? No. Can you control whether you communicate honestly about your concerns? Yes. You're worried about tomorrow's presentation. Can you control the outcome? No. Can you control your preparation, your effort, your attitude? Yes. Here's the brutal part. Once you identify something as outside your control, you must become completely indifferent to it. Not suppress your feelings, not pretend it doesn't matter, but genuinely release any attachment to controlling it. The reason you're anxious is because you're trying to control things you can't control. You're trying to control other people's opinions. You're trying to control outcomes. You're trying to control circumstances. And every single day, reality reminds you that you can't. So you feel powerless, anxious, fearful. But here's what the Stoics discovered. When you release your grip on what you can't control and focus entirely on what you can, you don't lose power, you gain it. because you stop wasting energy on impossible tasks and pour it all into the few things that actually respond to your effort. Can you control whether people like you? No. Can you control being someone worth liking? Yes. Can you control whether you succeed? No. Can you control giving yourself the best possible chance? Yes. Can you control what happens to you? No. Can you control who you become because of it? Yes. This is the most liberating and most brutal realization simultaneously. You have far less control than you think, and far more responsibility than you want. Less control over outcomes, more responsibility for your responses. Less control over circumstances, more responsibility for your character. When you fully embrace the dichotomy of control, fear starts to evaporate, because fear is always about something outside your control. You can't fear what you've already released. You can only work diligently on what's yours to work on and be indifferent to everything else.
We're at the halfway point. You now know 4 of the 7 brutal laws. But here's what most people don't realize. Knowing these laws intellectually does nothing. At the end of this video, I'm revealing the 30-day challenge that actually transforms knowledge into fearlessness. Keep watching. The 5th brutal law: voluntary discomfort. Deliberately make your life harder. Choose pain. Seek out difficulty. Not because you're masochistic, but because comfort is the enemy of growth and resilience. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Translation: regularly put yourself through the hardships you fear, so they lose their power over you. Here's the brutal truth about modern life. You're soft. We all are. We live in unprecedented comfort, temperature-controlled environments, food delivered to our door, entertainment on demand, pain avoided at all costs. And what has this comfort produced? The most anxious, depressed, fearful generation in history, because we've become so unaccustomed to discomfort that even minor hardship feels catastrophic. The Stoics understood that resilience is like a muscle. If you never stress it, it atrophies. If you always take the easy path, the hard path becomes impossible. If you always choose comfort, discomfort becomes terrifying. Voluntary discomfort is deliberately choosing to be cold, hungry, tired, or uncomfortable when you don't have to be. Not to punish yourself, but to train yourself, to prove to yourself that you can handle difficulty, to build psychological and physical resilience. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome. He could have lived in absolute luxury every single day. Instead, he regularly practiced voluntary poverty. He'd sleep on a hard floor, eat only bread and water for days, wear rough clothing, walk long distances in bad weather. Why? Because he knew that fortune could reverse at any moment, and if he'd become dependent on luxury, losing it would destroy him psychologically. But if he regularly practiced discomfort, then losing his wealth would just be another Tuesday. And this wasn't hypothetical.
Seneca was eventually exiled, stripped of his possessions, and ordered to commit suicide by Emperor Nero. According to accounts, he faced his execution with complete calm, even comforting his distraught friends. How? Because he'd been mentally and physically preparing for hardship his entire life. Here's your brutal practice menu. Choose at least 3 to implement this month. Cold exposure. Take a 3-minute cold shower every morning. The immediate discomfort is harmless and builds mental toughness. Your mind will scream at you to turn it warm. Don't. Breathe through it. Realize you can endure. Fasting. Skip a meal per day or fast for 24 hours once a week. Experience hunger. Realize it won't kill you. Discover that most of your need to eat is habit, not biology. Physical challenge. Do something that scares you physically. A long run, heavy weights, a difficult hike. Push to the point where your body says stop and then go a little further. Expand your threshold. Digital fast. Go 24 hours with no phone, no internet, no entertainment. Sit with boredom. Face your own thoughts. Realize you don't need constant stimulation to be okay. Voluntary poverty. Spend a week living on $20. Eat cheap food. Don't buy anything unnecessary. Realize how little you actually need to survive. Social discomfort. Have a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Say no to something you'd usually say yes to. Set a boundary. Endure the temporary discomfort of possible conflict or disapproval.
The brutal truth. You're afraid of discomfort because you never experience it voluntarily. So when it arrives involuntarily through circumstances, you collapse. You have no reference point for handling difficulty because you've spent your entire life avoiding it. Voluntary discomfort flips the script. You're no longer a victim of hardship. You're a practitioner of it. Cold weather, you've deliberately frozen yourself. Hunger, you've deliberately fasted. Exhaustion, you've deliberately pushed your limits. Social rejection, you've deliberately risked it. This doesn't make you immune to pain. It makes you competent at handling it. There's a massive difference between someone who's never been punched learning to box versus someone who's been training for years. Same punch, completely different response. When you regularly choose discomfort, you build what the Stoics called the inner citadel, an unshakable core that circumstances can't breach. Comfort didn't build that. Deliberate hardship did. The most fearless people alive aren't comfortable people. They're people who've proven to themselves repeatedly that they can handle being uncomfortable. Once you know you can endure cold, hunger, pain, rejection, and boredom, what's left to fear? Literally nothing. The 6th brutal law: negative visualization. Regularly imagine losing everything you currently have: your loved ones, your health, your possessions, your status, everything. This might sound depressing. It's actually the key to genuine appreciation and psychological preparation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not,
but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. Here's the psychology. You adapt to everything. That apartment you were so excited to get, within 3 months you don't even notice it. That relationship you cherish, familiarity breeds complacency. That health you enjoy, you assume it's permanent until it isn't. Negative visualization combats hedonic adaptation. It forces you to see what you have as temporary, fragile, borrowed. Not to make you paranoid, but to make you grateful. And gratitude is the antidote to fear. But there's a second function, preparation. When you regularly visualize loss, you're mentally rehearsing how you'd handle it. So if it actually happens, you're not starting from zero emotionally. You've already processed the initial shock in your imagination. Epictetus taught his students, with regard to whatever objects give you delight, are useful, or are deeply loved, remind yourself of what general nature they are, beginning from the most insignificant things. If, for example, you are fond of a specific ceramic cup, remind yourself that it is only ceramic cups in general of which you are fond. Then, if it breaks, you will not be disturbed. He applied this to everything, including people. When you kiss your child, he wrote, say to yourself, tomorrow you may be dead. This sounds cruel. It's actually the highest form of love, because when you're aware that every moment with someone could be the last, you don't take them for granted. You don't waste time on petty conflicts. You love them fully, right now. Epictetus himself lost everything multiple times, enslaved, freed, exiled, impoverished. But because he'd mentally rehearsed loss constantly, he remained psychologically stable through every reversal. He expected impermanence, so impermanence could.
Here's the daily practice. Every night before sleep, visualize losing one thing you value. Rotate through different categories. Monday, relationships. Imagine your partner or closest friend is gone tomorrow. Really feel it. What would you regret not saying? What would you wish you'd done differently? Now wake up and actually do those things. Tuesday, health. Visualize waking up unable to walk, or blind, or with a terminal diagnosis. How would that change your priorities? What would suddenly matter? What would you stop wasting time on? Wednesday, possessions. Imagine your house burns down, everything gone. What would you actually miss? What would you realize didn't matter at all? How would you rebuild? Thursday, career. Visualize losing your job and reputation tomorrow. Professional identity gone. Now what? Who are you without that title? What would you do? Friday, abilities. Imagine losing a core ability, your intelligence, your attractiveness, your skills. What's left? Is there still value in who you are? Saturday, freedom. Imagine being imprisoned or severely limited, no control over your schedule, location, or choices. What internal freedom would remain? Sunday, life itself. Imagine tonight is your last night alive. Tomorrow you won't exist. What matters right now? What doesn't?
the brutal truth. Everything you have is temporary. Your health will fail. Your relationships will end, either through separation or death. Your possessions will break or be lost. Your status will fade. Your life will end. These aren't pessimistic predictions, they're facts. Most people live in denial of this fact. They assume permanence where none exists. So when loss inevitably comes, they're devastated. Not just sad, which is natural and healthy, but psychologically destroyed because they never prepared. Negative visualization is the refusal to be blindsided by reality. You're not hoping for loss, you're acknowledging its inevitability and appreciating what you have while you have it. Here's the paradox. When you regularly imagine losing everything, you fear loss less and appreciate life more. The person who assumes their partner will always be there takes them for granted. The person who knows their partner could be gone tomorrow treasures every moment. This practice doesn't make you depressed, it makes you present, it makes you grateful, it makes you wise, because you're living in reality, not in the fantasy that everything good will last forever. When you've mentally survived losing everything, you're no longer controlled by the fear of loss. You know that even if the worst happens, you'll still be you. Stripped of everything external, your core remains, and that core is unbreakable because it doesn't depend on anything outside itself.
One law left, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to practice all 7 in just 15 minutes per day. This is the part that changes everything, so don't skip ahead. You need the final law to complete the system.
The 7th and final brutal law, the view from above. Regularly zoom out and see your life, your problems, and your fears from a cosmic perspective. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Constantly picture the universe as a single living being, comprising a single substance and a single soul, and observe how all things are referred to the single consciousness of this being, and how it does all things by a single impulse, and how all existing things are joint causes of all things that come into existence, and how all things are connected by one thread." Translation: your problems are not as significant as you think they are. Here's the brutal truth. You are cosmically insignificant. You're one of 8 billion humans on a planet that's one of trillions in a universe that's existed for 13.8 billion years and will exist for trillions more. That embarrassing thing that happened to you last week? In 100 years, everyone who witnessed it will be dead and no one will remember. That failure you're devastated by? In 1,000 years, no record of it will exist. That success you're so proud of? Same thing, forgotten, irrelevant, dust. This isn't nihilism, this is perspective, and perspective is the antidote to fear. Most of your fears exist because you're trapped in your own narrow point of view. You're zoomed in so close that every minor setback feels catastrophic.
Every criticism feels world-ending. Every uncertainty feels unbearable. The view from above forces you to zoom out, to see yourself as you actually are, a temporary biological organism on a random planet experiencing a brief moment of consciousness before returning to the void from which you came. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man alive, regularly practiced this perspective. In his private journal, he wrote, "Asia and Europe, mere corners of the universe. Every sea, a drop in the ocean. Mount Athos, a grain of sand in the universe. The present moment, a point in eternity. All things are petty, easily changed, vanishing away." This is the most powerful man on earth, deliberately shrinking his own importance. Why? Because he understood that ego and fear are directly correlated. The bigger you think you are, the more you have to fear. The more accurately you see your actual size in the cosmos, the less there is to threaten. When Germanic tribes invaded, when plague killed millions, when his own generals betrayed him, Marcus returned to this cosmic perspective, not to minimize real suffering, but to maintain clear judgment, to not be overwhelmed by the temporary drama of human affairs.
Whenever you're anxious, afraid, or overwhelmed, do this mental zoom-out exercise. Level 1. The room. See yourself in the room you're in right now. You're one person in one room in one moment. This fear you're feeling, is it the only thing happening in this room? Or is there also air, light, quiet? Put the fear in context. Level 2. The city. Zoom out. See your city from above. Thousands or millions of people, all living their own lives, having their own problems. Your specific fear, where is it in this view? It's invisible, insignificant. Level 3. The planet. Zoom out further. See Earth from space. 8 billion people. Wars, births, deaths, loves, losses, all happening simultaneously. Your fear, can you even locate it from here? No, it's too small. Level 4. The solar system. Zoom out more. Earth is now a pale blue dot. Your entire life, everyone you've ever known, every human drama that's ever occurred, happened on that tiny speck. Your current fear is a microscopic event on a microscopic moment on a microscopic planet. Level 5. The galaxy. Zoom out to see the Milky Way. 100 to 400 billion stars. Earth is now invisible. Your fear? It doesn't exist at this scale. It can't. It's too small to register. Return. Now zoom back into the room. You're still here. The fear might still be here, but you've seen it in its actual context. How much power does it have now?
The brutal truth. Your fears feel enormous because you're experiencing them from inside your own skull, where they take up 100% of your conscious attention. but they're actually infinitesimally small when viewed from any reasonable perspective. That public speaking fear? In a year, no one will remember your presentation. In a century, everyone in the audience will be dead. In a millennium, no record of the event will exist. So why are you treating it like a life or death situation? That relationship anxiety? In the cosmic scale, human relationships are brief chemical reactions between temporary organisms. Meaningful? Absolutely. Worth experiencing fully? Yes. Worth being controlled by fear over? No. The view from above doesn't diminish what matters, it clarifies what matters. Love is still worth experiencing. Growth is still worth pursuing. Connection is still valuable. But catastrophizing over outcomes, letting fear paralyze you, treating temporary setbacks as permanent disasters, that's revealed as the delusion it always was. Here's the liberating brutality of this perspective. If nothing you do matters on a cosmic scale, then you're free to do what matters on a human scale. You can't succeed or fail in any ultimate sense because the universe has no opinion about your life. So you might as well pursue what's meaningful to you. Love who you love, create what you want to create, and stop being afraid of judgment from beings who are equally insignificant. The view from above doesn't make you care less, it makes you care about the right things. Fear of judgment? Cosmically irrelevant. The quality of your character, that's actually yours to control, so it's worth focusing on. Fear of failure? Meaningless on any serious timescale. The effort you put in? That's real and present, so give it everything. When you regularly practice seeing yourself from a cosmic perspective, you develop what the Stoics called indifference to indifference. Everything external to your character becomes contextual, temporary, ultimately unimportant. Only your choices, your intentions. So here we are. 7 brutal Stoic laws that will make you fear nothing. Memento mori. Remember you will die, so stop living like you won't. Amor fati. Love your fate. Transform every obstacle into fuel. Premeditatio malorum. Premeditate adversity. Fear nothing, you've already survived mentally. Dichotomy of control. Focus only on what you control. Release everything else. Voluntary discomfort. Seek hardship deliberately. Build unshakable resilience. Negative visualization. Imagine loss daily. Appreciate what you have while you have it. View from above. See yourself from space. Shrink your problems to their actual size. Now here's the truth that most people won't accept. Watching this video changes nothing. You can understand these principles intellectually and still be controlled by fear tomorrow. You can nod along, feel inspired for 20 minutes, then return to the exact same anxious, fearful, hesitant version of yourself you were before you clicked this video. Knowledge without practice is just entertainment. And if all you do is consume this content without implementing it, you're not becoming fearless. You're becoming a Stoicism hobbyist. You're collecting philosophical concepts like trading cards instead of forging yourself into something unbreakable. The ancient Stoics didn't write books to create an intellectual fan club. They wrote manuals for psychological transformation. They expected you to do the work, not just understand it.
So here's what separates the people who actually become fearless from the people who just think about becoming fearless. The 30-day Stoic Challenge. For the next 30 days, you're going to practice all 7 laws. Not pick your favorites, not do the easy ones. All 7. Every single day. Your daily practice, 15 minutes total. Morning, 5 minutes. Memento mori. Spend 60 seconds visualizing your death. Then ask, based on my mortality, what should I do today? Premeditatio malorum. Spend 2 minutes imagining one thing that could go wrong today. Plan your response. Dichotomy of control. Spend 2 minutes listing what you'll focus on, things you control, and what you'll release, things you don't. Throughout the day, voluntary discomfort. Do one hard thing. Cold shower, skip a meal, have a difficult conversation, push your workout further than comfortable. Choose one deliberately uncomfortable action. Amor fati. When something goes wrong, and it will, immediately ask, how is this actually necessary? What's the hidden advantage? Force yourself to find it.
Evening. Negative visualization. Spend 5 minutes imagining losing something you value. Really feel it. Then appreciate that you still have it right now. View from above. Spend 5 minutes doing the cosmic zoom-out exercise on your biggest fear or problem from today. Watch it shrink to its actual size. The commitment. 30 days. That's it. Not a year. Not a lifetime commitment. Just 30 consecutive days of practicing these 7 laws for 15 minutes per day. Here's what will happen. Week 1. You'll feel resistance. Your brain will tell you this is uncomfortable, unnecessary, maybe even harmful. That's your fear of change talking. Push through. Week 2, you'll notice small shifts. A situation that would have made you anxious doesn't. A fear that used to paralyze you becomes just information. You'll start to feel the training working. Week 3, people around you will notice. You'll respond to setbacks differently. You'll seem calmer under pressure. You'll take risks you used to avoid. The transformation becomes visible. Week 4, you'll realize you've fundamentally changed how you process fear. It's not that nothing bothers you, it's that you have a system for handling everything. You've become, in the truest sense, unfearable.
But here's the brutal question you need to answer right now. Are you going to do this? Or are you going to close this video, feel momentarily inspired, and then return to being controlled by the same fears that have been running your life for years?
Because that's the choice. There's no middle ground. You either commit to the practice and transform, or you don't and you stay the same. Passive interest in Stoicism is worthless. Active practice of Stoicism is life-changing. If you're serious about this, here's what you do right now, not later, right now. Step 1. Open your Notes app or grab a piece of paper. Write at the top, 30-Day Stoic Challenge, Day 1, today's date. Step 2. Set 3 daily alarms. Morning alarm, Stoic morning practice, 5 minutes. Midday alarm, voluntary discomfort, choose hardship. Evening alarm, Stoic evening practice, 10 minutes. Step 4. Commit publicly. Comment below, starting the 30-day Stoic challenge today. Just that sentence. This creates public accountability. You're 42% more likely to complete something when you've stated your intention publicly. Step 4. Do today's practice before you go to bed tonight. Not tomorrow, tonight. Prove to yourself that you're actually doing this, not just thinking about doing it. The promise. If you do this, genuinely do this for 30 days, you will not be the same person at the end. You won't completely eliminate fear. That's not the goal. Fear is information. But you will eliminate fear's control over you. You'll process it, learn from it, and act anyway. You won't become some emotionless robot. You'll become someone who feels deeply but isn't controlled by feelings, who loves fully but isn't destroyed by loss, who pursues goals intensely but isn't devastated by failure. You'll become what the Stoics called wise, someone who sees reality clearly, accepts what is, focuses on what they control, and remains psychologically unshakable regardless of circumstances. The final truth. 2,000 years ago, a slave named Epictetus, an emperor named Marcus Aurelius, and a philosopher named Seneca discovered something that most people never learn. Fear is optional. Not the emotion of fear, that's biology, but being controlled by fear, letting it dictate your choices, living a smaller life because you're afraid, that's optional. That's a choice. You can choose differently starting today. These 7 brutal laws are your tools. They're not theory. They're not philosophy for academic discussion. They're weapons for psychological warfare against fear itself. The question is, will you use them? Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, never intending for anyone else to read it, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Stop arguing about whether you should become fearless. Stop thinking about it. Stop planning to start someday. Start today. Start now. Take the 30-day Stoic challenge. And 30 days from now, come back and tell me I was wrong about what this practice can do for you. I'll wait. Because you won't be able to. You'll be too busy living the life that fear used to prevent you from living. Comment Day 1 below right now. Set those 3 alarms. Do tonight's practice before sleep. Your fearless life starts the moment you decide it does. The question is that moment now? If you got value from this video, subscribe, because I'm releasing a 90-day advanced Stoic practices series next month that goes even deeper than this, but only if you've actually done the 30-day challenge. No more theory, only practice, only transformation. Now go, practice, become unfearable.
What separates those who crumble under pressure from those who remain unshaken? It's not intelligence, it's wisdom. The ancient Stoics identified specific mental patterns that trap us in weakness. Today, we're examining 7 phrases that reveal these patterns and, more importantly, how to break free from them. If you're ready to strengthen your mind, let's begin. Phrase number 1. It's not my fault. The first trap is blame. When things go wrong, the trained mind looks everywhere but inward. The economy, the boss, other people, always something external. But here's what blame really means. You're admitting the world controls you. Epictetus, who went from slave to philosopher, taught a simple truth. Some things are in your control, others aren't. The weak waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. The strong focus exclusively on what they can change. Picture 2 ship captains in a storm. One shakes his fist at the sky, cursing the weather. The other quietly adjusts the sails and grips the wheel. The storm doesn't care about your complaints, it only responds to your actions. Yes, the situation might not be your fault, but your response, that's always your responsibility. Stop pointing fingers, start building solutions.
They made me angry. This phrase hands your emotional control to everyone around you. Seneca called anger temporary madness, not strength, but a collapse of reason. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine someone bumps into you hard in a crowd. You spin around, furious. Then you notice they're blind, using a cane. Suddenly, your anger evaporates. What changed? The bump was identical, only your interpretation changed. This proves something crucial. People don't make you angry, your judgments do. The disciplined mind is like a fortress. Insults bounce off, provocations fail to penetrate. If you're easily provoked, you're easily controlled. Guard your mind. The third trap is living entirely in the future. When I get promoted, when I buy that house, when I retire. This guarantees misery today while chasing a tomorrow that never arrives. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, had everything, yet he wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." There's an old story about a businessman who sees a fisherman relaxing with his family at midday.
Why aren't you out fishing more, he asks. You could build a fleet, start a company, then retire and enjoy your family. The fisherman smiles. What do you think I'm doing right now? Don't wait for permission to live. If you can't find peace today, wealth won't create it tomorrow. Work with purpose, but don't postpone your life.
Why is this happening to me? When hardship strikes, the weak feel targeted. This isn't fair. Why me? But Stoics practice amor fati, love of fate, not just accepting what happens, but embracing it. Think of it this way. If a coach only gives you weak opponents, you never improve. The tough opponent who throws you around, that's who makes you stronger. Life is that coach. Marcus Aurelius thanked the gods for his difficulties because they tested his character. A weak flame gets extinguished by the wind. A strong one burns brighter. Stop asking, why me? Start asking, what can I learn? I already know that. The moment you think you know everything, growth stops. Epictetus would kick arrogant students out of his classroom. He said, "It's impossible to learn what you think you already know." There's a Zen story about this. A scholar visits a master to learn about Zen. As the master pours tea, he fills the cup and keeps pouring. Tea spills everywhere. The scholar protests. The master replies, "Like this cup, you're full of your own opinions. How can I show you wisdom unless you first empty your cup?" The proud guard their ignorance. The wise cultivate the mind of a student. Be willing to look foolish today to become wise tomorrow.
I don't have time. I'm too busy to read, exercise, or think. Usually, this is a lie. What you really mean is, it's not a priority. You have time to scroll for 2 hours, but not meditate for 10 minutes? Seneca wrote that life is long enough if you know how to use it. People guard their money fiercely, but let everyone steal their time. You get 86,400 seconds every day. The foolish let them drain away, distracted. The wise ruthlessly eliminate the non-essential. Saying you're too busy to improve yourself is like being too busy driving to stop for gas. Eventually, you'll break down. What will people think? The final cage is living for an audience that isn't watching. Marcus Aurelius asked, "Why do we value others' opinions of us more than our own?" If an actor spends the whole play watching the audience for applause, he'll forget his lines and ruin the performance.
Stop being the actor watching the crowd. Stop changing yourself to fit in. Your character, who you actually are, matters more than your reputation. If you need others' approval to act, you give them the power to destroy you with a single criticism. Break the chains. Let them think what they want. These 7 phrases are walls of a prison you built yourself, but the door is unlocked. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about seeing clearly and acting with courage. Catch yourself when these phrases arise. Replace them with responsibility, gratitude, and action. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Listen closely. Right now, in this very moment, there's a battle happening. Not on a battlefield, not in the streets, but inside you. It's the war between who you are and who you react to be, between the person you want to become and the emotions that hijack your decisions. Someone cuts you off in traffic, your blood boils. A text goes unanswered, your mind spirals. A comment online, suddenly your entire day shifts. Sound familiar? Here's what most people won't tell you. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're human. But being human doesn't mean being controlled. The ancient philosophers understood something we've forgotten. Emotions are visitors, not owners. They knock on your door, but you decide whether to let them run your house. Today, I'm breaking down 7 powerful principles that will help you reclaim control, not by suppressing what you feel, but by mastering how you respond. If you've ever wondered why some people seem unshakable while you're drowning in overthinking, this is for you. Before we dive in, drop a comment right now. I choose my response. Say it, mean it. Let's begin.
Principle 1. Separate the event from the story. Here's a radical idea. Most of your suffering isn't caused by what happens to you. It's caused by the story you tell yourself about what happened. Someone doesn't reply to your message. That's the event. But your mind creates a story. They don't care about me. I'm being ignored. I said something wrong. None of that is fact. It's interpretation. Ancient wisdom teaches us this. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies your power. So, here's the practice. When something triggers you, pause. Ask yourself 3 questions. What actually happened? Just the facts, no story. What story am I adding to this? Is this story definitely true? Most of the time, you'll realize you're reacting to a narrative you created, not reality. A criticism at work isn't a death sentence to your career. It's feedback. A friend's silence isn't rejection. It's just silence. When you stop adding drama to events, events stop having power over you. Try this today. The next time you feel triggered, write down the bare facts versus your interpretation. You'll be shocked at the difference. Principle 2. Master the pause. Speed kills. Not just on the highway, but in your emotional life. Think about your biggest regrets. I bet most of them happened because you reacted too fast. You sent that message. You said those words.
You made that decision while your emotions were in the driver's seat. Here's a truth that will change your life. You don't owe anyone an immediate response. Not to anger, not to anxiety, not to that text message designed to push your buttons. The most powerful people in the world move slowly when it comes to decisions. They think fast, but they respond slow. Practice this. When you feel intense emotion rising, count to 10. Sounds simple, almost childish, but in those 10 seconds, you give your rational brain time to catch up to your emotional brain. Better yet, implement the 24-hour rule for big reactions. If something makes you want to quit your job, end a relationship, or send a heated email, wait 24 hours. I promise you, most things that feel urgent in the moment lose their power by tomorrow. Your emotional speed is making you weak. Slow down to strengthen up. Comment below, I choose delay over destruction.
Principle 3. Stop defending your worth. You know what's exhausting? Constantly explaining yourself to people who've already made up their minds about you. Here's a hard truth. Some people will misunderstand you no matter how clearly you speak. Some will judge you no matter how perfectly you perform. Some will doubt you no matter how much you prove. And that's okay. Your worth is not up for debate. It's not a courtroom where you need to present evidence. It's a fact that exists independent of other people's opinions. The moment you stop needing to justify yourself to everyone is the moment you become free. This doesn't mean you're arrogant or closed to feedback. It means you're selective about whose opinions you invest in. Ask yourself, is this person genuinely trying to understand me, or are they just looking for ammunition? If it's the latter, save your breath. Your energy is too valuable to waste on people who've already decided who you are. Let your life be your argument. Let your results speak louder than your words. Let your peace be so evident that explanations become unnecessary. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's narrow understanding of who you should be. The right people will see you. The wrong people won't, no matter what you say.
Principle 4. Build emotional boundaries. Here's something nobody teaches you. You need walls. Not to keep people out, but to keep your peace in. Most people walk through life emotionally naked. Every comment bruises them. Every look cuts them. Every slight destroys them. That's not sensitivity. That's lack of boundaries. An emotional boundary means you decide what gets access to your mental space. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your energy. Not every conflict deserves your participation. Think of your mind like a VIP section. Not everyone gets in. You're the bouncer. Here's how to practice this. When someone says something designed to hurt you, visualize it hitting an invisible shield. It doesn't penetrate, it doesn't enter, it just bounces off. This isn't about becoming cold or heartless, it's about protecting your center. You can be kind without being available to chaos. You can be open without being vulnerable to attacks. You can be loving without being a doormat. Start saying these phrases. That's your perspective, not my reality. I hear you, but I disagree. You're entitled to your opinion. Then move on. Don't engage in emotional warfare. Just acknowledge and exit. Your peace is sacred ground. Guard it like your life depends on it, because your quality of life does.
Principle 5. Expect resistance. Here's a perspective shift that will make you unshakable. Stop being surprised when people disappoint you. I know that sounds cynical, but hear me out. When you expect perfection from people, you set yourself up for constant letdown. The ancient thinkers would start their day with a mental exercise. Today, I will encounter ungrateful people. I will meet those who lie, manipulate, or disrespect me. Why? Because expecting it removes the sting when it happens. You're not being pessimistic, you're being prepared. Think of it like this. A soldier doesn't go to war hoping everyone will be nice. They train for combat. When combat comes, they're ready, not shocked. This doesn't mean you become paranoid or distrustful. It means you stop being naive about human nature. People will let you down. They'll break promises. They'll ghost you. They'll use you. Not because you're worthless, but because people are flawed, including you. When you accept this reality, you stop taking it personally. You stop spiraling. You just think, yep, there it is, and keep moving. Prepare for resistance, and you'll never be broken by it. Comment, I expect the storm, so I'm never surprised by rain. Principle 6. Train your thinking, not just your feelings. Everyone wants to feel better. That's why we binge-watch shows, scroll endlessly, or seek quick dopamine hits. But here's the problem. Feelings are unreliable guides. You can feel anxious about something that will never happen. You can feel confident about something that's doomed to fail. You can feel unloved when you're actually surrounded by care. Feelings lie. So instead of asking, how can I feel better? Ask, how can I think more clearly? Your thoughts create your feelings, not the other way around. Change the thought, and the feeling shifts. Example, you think nobody respects me. You feel worthless. Revised thought, some people don't see my value, and that's their loss. You feel grounded. Same situation, different interpretation, different emotional result. This is mental discipline. It's not about toxic positivity or pretending problems don't exist. It's about not letting distorted thinking rule your emotions. When anxiety hits, ask, what thought is creating this feeling? Is it based on facts or fears? Most of the time, it's fears,
and once you expose them, they lose their grip. Strengthen your mind, and your emotions will follow.
Principle 7. Review your reactions like game footage. Athletes watch game tape. They study every move, every mistake, every missed opportunity. Why? To improve. You need to do the same with your emotional reactions. Every time you lose control, whether it's snapping at someone, spiraling into anxiety, or shutting down, that's data. Don't just feel bad about it. Study it. Ask yourself, what triggered me? What belief was underneath that trigger? How could I respond differently next time? Keep a journal. Track your patterns. You'll start to notice certain people always trigger you the same way. Certain environments drain your peace. Certain thoughts always lead to the same spiral. Once you see the pattern, you can interrupt it. This is how you evolve, not by being perfect, but by being aware. Every reaction is feedback. Every breakdown is a breakthrough waiting to happen if you're willing to learn from it. Emotional mastery isn't about never falling. It's about falling forward, learning, and getting stronger each time.
So here's what we've covered. Separate events from the stories you tell. Master the pause before you react. Stop defending your worth to everyone. Build emotional boundaries that protect your peace. Expect resistance so you're never shaken by it. Train your thinking, not just your feelings. Review every reaction to learn and grow. These aren't quick fixes. They're practices, habits, skills that build over time. But if you commit to them, you'll become someone different. Someone who doesn't collapse under pressure. Someone who stays calm when others lose control. Someone who feels deeply but responds wisely. That's true power. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself. The world will keep throwing chaos at you, but you'll walk through it untouched. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, drop a comment with your biggest takeaway, and subscribe because we're building a community of people who refuse to be controlled by their emotions. Your final affirmation, type it in the comments. My calm is my strength. Now go out there and show the world what mastery looks like.
What if I told you there's a 2,000-year-old trick that can make you literally immune to stress, anxiety, and other people's negativity? Sounds impossible, right? Well, stick around, because by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how a slave and a Roman emperor used the same secret to master their minds, and how you can use it starting today. But here's the thing. There are 3 specific practices they used, and the third one, most people get it completely wrong. So make sure you watch till the end, because that's where I'll reveal the practice that changed my entire perspective on life. Let's dive in. Remember, stay till the end for practice number 3. This philosophy I'm talking about, it's called Stoicism. And before you click away thinking this is some boring history lesson, trust me, this is going to blow your mind. Stoicism was practiced by Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at the time, ruling the entire Roman Empire. But it was also practiced by Epictetus, who was born as a slave. An emperor and a slave. Think about that. Same philosophy, same tools, same results.
And if it worked for them in their extreme situations, imagine what it can do for your daily stress. Now, if you're someone who's tired of anxiety controlling your life, or if you want to finally stop caring what others think, tag that friend who needs to hear this, because what I'm about to share will change how they see everything. Okay, here's the first principle, and honestly, if you only learn one thing from this video, let it be this. Epictetus said, "Some things are within our control, and some things are not." Now pause. Before you say, "Duh, that's obvious," ask yourself this. How much time did you spend this week worrying about things you can't control? Someone's opinion of you, traffic, your boss's mood, the weather? Here's what the Stoics discovered. 99% of our suffering comes from trying to control things we can't control. Let me break this down for you. You cannot control what people think about you, traffic, weather, delays, the past, it's done, how others treat you, the economy, politics, world events. But you can control your thoughts and reactions, your effort and work ethic, how you treat others, your character and values, what you focus on. Here's a real example. Someone criticizes your work. Most people spiral. They hate me, I'm terrible, I'll never succeed. But a Stoic, they think, I can't control their opinion, but I can control whether I learn something useful from this or let it destroy me. See the difference? And here's the crazy part. The second principle I'm about to share takes this even further. It's called amor fati, and it's honestly the most powerful mindset shift you'll ever experience. Keep watching. Remember, principle 3 is the game changer.
All right, principle number 2, amor fati. It's Latin for love your fate. Now, most people accept bad things when they happen, but the Stoics, they went further. They learned to love everything that happened to them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." Translation, every obstacle, every setback, every failure, it's all fuel. Let me give you some real scenarios. You lost your job. Most people panic. A Stoic says, "This is my chance to find something better, to pivot, to discover what I'm really meant to do." Relationship ended? This is teaching me what I really need, helping me grow, preparing me for the right person. Failed at something? This is showing me exactly what not to do next time. This isn't toxic positivity, this is practical wisdom. Because here's the truth, bad things will happen. You can't stop that. But you can choose whether those things break you or build you. And if you're still watching, comment amor fati below so I know you're really getting this. Share this with someone who's going through a tough time right now. They need to hear this. Now, let's get to principle number 3. This is the one that completely changed my life. Principle number 3, memento mori. Remember, you will die. Now, before you think this is dark or depressing, hear me out, because this is actually the most freeing thing you'll ever embrace. The Stoics kept skulls on their desks. They reminded themselves every single day, I will die. My time here is limited. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Think about that argument you had last week, that embarrassing moment that's haunting you, that grudge you're holding. When you remember you're going to die, and so is everyone you know, suddenly those things don't matter anymore. Memento mori gives you permission to let go of grudges instantly, the courage to take risks and chase your dreams, freedom from caring what people think, appreciation for ordinary moments, urgency to stop procrastinating. Here's what I want you to do right now. Think of one thing you've been putting off, one dream, one conversation, one risk, and ask yourself, if I had 1 year left, would I still be waiting? That's the power of remembering death. It doesn't make you sad, it makes you alive.
And if this hit you, if you felt something just now, do me a favor. Share this video with someone you love, because we never know how much time we have, and they need to hear this message. Tag your friends who need this wake-up call. Let's spread this wisdom.
Okay, so you understand the philosophy. But how do you actually use this in real life? Here are 3 practices you can start today. Practice number 1, the morning prep. Every morning, tell yourself, today will be challenging. People will frustrate me. Things will go wrong. But I will stay calm. I control my reactions. This isn't pessimism. It's preparation. You're training your mind. Practice number 2, the evening review. Before bed, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What could I improve? Did I waste energy on things I can't control? Marcus Aurelius did this every night. If it's good enough for a Roman emperor, it's good enough for us. Practice number 3, the weekly reality check. Once a week, imagine losing something you value. Your job, your health, a loved one. This isn't negative thinking, it's appreciation training. When you imagine loss, you stop taking things for granted. Now here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these practices and try it for just 7 days. Comment below which one you're going to start with. I read every comment and I want to know. And if you found this valuable, hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this, and share it with someone who's struggling right now. Because Stoicism isn't just philosophy, it's a lifeline. Remember that stressed person from the beginning? The one stuck in traffic, phone blowing up, anxiety through the roof? That doesn't have to be you anymore. With these 3 principles, the dichotomy of control, amor fati, and memento mori, you have everything you need to handle whatever life throws at you. The Stoics weren't superhuman. They felt everything we feel. But they had a toolkit, a mental framework, a way to turn chaos into calm. And now, so do you. So here's what I want you to do right now. 1. Hit subscribe so you don't miss more transformative content like this. 2. Share this video with 3 people who need to hear this message. Your friend who's stressed, your family member who's struggling, that coworker who's anxious all the time. And 3. Comment, I'm starting today, so we can build a community of people committed to growth. Because here's the truth. Philosophy isn't about reading, it's about practice. And as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The obstacle is the way. Now go out there and show life what you're made of. I'll see you in the next video. Life has a strange way of teaching us lessons. The harder we try to control every little detail, the outcomes, the timing, the way people respond, the more frustrated and exhausted we become. We plan our lives down to the smallest steps, thinking that if we just push harder, if we just try more, everything will finally fall into place. But here's the paradox. What if the opposite is true? What if the moment you stop forcing, stop grasping, and start trusting the natural flow of life, things begin to move effortlessly? This is not about giving up. It's about understanding where your true power lies. The Stoics, centuries ago, mastered this way of thinking. Marcus Aurelius once wrote about accepting what comes naturally and not wasting energy fighting reality. Epictetus taught that freedom comes from letting go of things beyond our control. And Seneca reminded us that difficulties strengthen the mind, just as labor strengthens the body. In today's video, we will explore how to stop being trapped by the need to control everything,
how to live with true confidence, and how to move through life with calm and clarity. By the end, you will see life from an entirely different perspective. The illusion of control. We spend much of our lives obsessing over results, waiting for that promotion, hoping a relationship works out, stressing about whether our efforts will pay off. We tell ourselves, if I just work harder, push more, never let go, I can force things to happen. But here's the catch. The more we cling to a specific outcome, the more anxious we become. The process stops feeling fulfilling, and our happiness becomes entirely dependent on things we cannot fully control. This is the trap of modern life, tying our joy to outcomes instead of focusing on what we can actually influence. Consider a young musician practicing every day, dreaming of performing on a grand stage. If they obsess over the audience's approval or compare themselves to others, every note they play becomes a source of stress. But if they focus on the act of practice itself, mastering their craft, they experience flow. Their skill grows, and the performance, when it comes, becomes effortless. Epictetus explains this beautifully. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. When we release the need to control the uncontrollable, we reclaim our energy, our focus, and our peace. Stoic philosophy on acceptance. Acceptance is a cornerstone of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. Let's unpack this. It doesn't mean passivity. It means understanding the boundary between what you can influence and what you cannot. Your actions, your thoughts, your decisions, these are within your control. The economy, other people's choices, the timing of events, these are not. Seneca once wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Often our stress comes not from what happens, but from our attachment to a desired outcome. We imagine the worst-case scenario, dwell on what might go wrong, and fail to engage fully in the present. Imagine two people applying for a job. The first is desperate, sending applications everywhere, panicking over every rejection. Their energy is scattered, anxious, and uncertain. The second person is deliberate, focused, and confident, sending carefully crafted applications while preparing for growth. Who do you think is more likely to succeed? The calm, focused person acts from clarity, not fear. This is Stoic wisdom in action.
Detachment in relationships. This principle of detachment applies not only to work and success, but also to relationships. Many people approach love and friendship from desperation. They fear loneliness, seek validation, and try to control how others behave. But desperation pushes people away. When we cling too tightly, when we obsess over someone's approval, the relationship becomes unbalanced. The Stoics teach the opposite. Approach relationships with self-respect and confidence. Focus on your own character, your own virtues, and let connections develop naturally. Epictetus says, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Before acting, be clear on why you're acting. Is it from fear or from clarity? Desperate actions come from fear. Purposeful actions come from strength. Consider a friendship where one person constantly tries to change the other. No matter how much they push, the other person resists. Frustration builds. But if they let go, focus on their own values, and accept the friend as they are, the relationship can thrive naturally. This is the power of detachment. Success and the illusion of timing. We live in a world obsessed with instant results.
Social media, fast information, quick gratification, it conditions us to expect success overnight. But mastery, real skill, and personal growth require patience. Epictetus reminds us, no great thing is created suddenly. Wisdom, strength, success, these take time. Think of a tree. You cannot pull its branches to make it grow faster. Life works similarly. If you are waiting for success, for recognition, for the right moment, understand that you are still in the process of becoming the person ready for it. Every effort, every setback, every learning moment is preparing you for what is to come. Those who trust the process keep moving forward, and life unfolds naturally in their favor. Practical steps to letting go. Now, let's talk practical application. How to stop controlling the uncontrollable. Daily reminder. Remind yourself that outcomes are beyond your control. Your effort, your discipline, your mindset, these are yours to master. Reframe your thinking. Shift from "I need this to happen" to "I trust that whatever happens is for my growth." Focus on the present. Obsessing over the past or worrying about the future steals your energy. The present is the only thing you can truly influence. Think about stress at work. Mistakes happen, deadlines approach, people disagree. Instead of panicking, ask yourself, what can I do right now to move forward? Focus on action, not fear. This is the essence of Stoic resilience.
Mindset and growth. Every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue, patience, resilience, courage, and wisdom. Seneca teaches, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor strengthens the body.